kids, you're about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice and medical care, please contact your doctor. Brought to you by the Koala Cola Corporation. It tastes just like Down Under. I'm Crappy Koala. Take it away, DJ Dylan.
Welcome to the Jock podcast featuring Dr. London Smith. My name's DJ Dylan, and I hope everyone's having a great Jock Boy summer. Okay, what is this? Who wrote this? I'm not reading this.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health, and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, Dr. LondonSmith.com. I'd like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as low cerebral spinal fluid levels of orexin A/hypocretin 1, and how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? So I'll try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer, Cameron.
I mean, Dr. London, what even is this? I'm going through this script.
Yeah.
And I feel like our writers have gone hugely downhill. I'm really sorry for this sort of behind the scenes look. You guys don't really get to see how the sausage is made. But of course, this is a scripted show.
Yeah, heavily scripted.
And we have a team of writers who write every single thing that we say. Mm-hmm. And they have been fantastic. There's some of my best friends. We've played frisbee golf with each other for a lot of the time. This script is terrible, Dr. London.
Well, I mean,
you've got a woodchuck, whatever joke in there.
I didn't. So I should clarify on that, Cameron, because maybe you missed it. But on a previous episode, I used that woodchuck terminology, and it really confused some people. So we got letters.
Oh, okay.
That's a fan correction, more or less. Like, that's them saying, "Hey, this is kind of difficult. We're new to the medical world, so please kind of go easy on us with this."
But even, I don't know, just at the top, you're saying like, "Oh, I'm drlondonsmith.com, and this is the Jock podcast, blah, blah, blah." Can we not make this more fun, more interesting?
Okay, so maybe we should add jokes, because I don't know.
Okay.
The thing is, I want people to take medicine seriously.
Let's just test it out. DJ Dylan, we're going to test it out.
Yes.
DJ Dylan, get the silliest sound effects that you can possibly think of for this section. And Dr. London, we're going to redo the top part, but we're going to be zanier.
Zanier. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I know you want this podcast to be taken seriously, but
that's my whole...
have to try something new.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So zany, I can try for that.
Yep.
So I guess okay. So that's our producer, Cameron.
Boing.
Also with us is
Zil.
Digital in the house.
Step outside, what do you see there? UAP navigates the air. Take your hand, rub it through my hair. Falling short, but it's hard to care. Your mom wants Prince Harry to work at Walmart and it shows. Look up, baby, your focus is too low. Reading through a script we tore up years ago. Let's travel through space-time in a mental flow. Let's travel through space. Low. Taking off in the mothership, pinky toe gonna take a dip. Without notice, this craft could flip. Leave my body going on this trip. Taking off in the mothership. be. Without notice, this craft could fly. Leave my body going on this, taking off in the mud.
And later, Cameron tells me we can expect a special guest.
Hey, Dr. London, I have a question. Is our guest gonna be the Queen of England?
Well, you were the one who booked the guest, so this is the zany thing?
Yeah, this is like like morning DJs type thing, like banter.
So you were, but okay, but on a serious, but you were the one who booked the. Do you know?
We have a guest. Yeah, I booked the guest. The guest is not the Queen of England.
Okay, now I know.
Okay,
and you're sure?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the Queen of England, so maybe this person is like on the side as a side gig. I don't know. But as far as I understand, they're not booked on the show as the Queen of England.
As the Queen of England.
Yeah.
Okay, so if they are on the show, they're not here in that capacity.
I don't know. I mean, like we can figure out, but that is not how they registered as a guest.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay,
so it's sort of just a zany joke, sort of like morning DJs. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we can look forward to that guest, and maybe
Dr. London, I hope our guest
royalty.
Doesn't fart.
Hey, but so flatulence are actually pretty normal. I'm sorry.
No, you have to. It's funny. It's happy. It's funny. You can't get into the medical science of why farts are good.
Yeah, it's just like if you don't fart, then that's actually like medically concerning. You know what I mean?
So,
this is part of the zany thing.
Yes. I'm not saying our guest actually has to suppress her farts. I am saying, just in a funny way, that I hope our guest isn't farting around. Again, morning DJs. This is the kind of stuff they talk about, Dr. London.
Yes.
Okay. I've only listened to the evening variety of DJ, so it's a different world.
You've only listened to like Delilah from... she was like a nationally syndicated radio DJ for light FM type stuff, like really light rock. And she'd be like, "Hi, I'm Delilah."
Yeah. She said, she would say that.
That's what you think a night DJ is.
Yeah, someone who introduces
sort of a
themselves very
soft-spoken person
gently.
Introducing a Dido song.
Yeah. So you just want the morning version of that.
Yes. Hey, Dr. London, did you have toe jam for breakfast today?
Did I jam my toe? Is that what you're saying? Or is that a type of jam that I put on my bread? Yeah.
Oh, you put toe jam on your peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Ew.
Like, it's usually like more of a cranberry jam or something like that. Something kind of delicious.
We just move on. DJ Dylan, lock up the zany noises. Lock them up. We don't deserve to use the zany noises.
Okay, I thought I really tapped into it there. Okay.
You think a lot of things.
Thank you. Before we move on, I would like to address a bit of listener feedback. This note comes from the legal counsel for the Rainforest Thresher Division of the Coca-Cola Corporation. The note reads, quote, "Refrain from using the term rainforest in future reference to the rampant deforestation techniques applied by the Coca-Cola Corporation and its subsidiaries. Instead, use the term densely overpopulated wasteland aggregates of oppressive tree holts." So just to repeat that, instead of rainforest, we're using the term densely overpopulated wasteland aggregates of oppressive tree holts.
That to me is just a good business decision. So this podcast, as all of our listeners know, we recently moved over to the Koala Cola Network, the #1 soda in all of Australia. Koala.
It tastes just like Down Under.
Yes, that's of course Koala Cola's mascot, Crampy Koala. He's been hanging out in the studio for about 10 weeks now. 10 long weeks.
Good day. Okay.
Just sit back in that stool, please.
Oh, please.
Crampy. Okay. But yeah, our corporate overlords, now we are on the Jock Talk podcast
we shouldn't use
network, we are on the Koala Cola podcast network. Our corporate overlords just want to change.
They said that we should tone that down a little bit, that terminology.
What about corporate masters?
Yeah, or just supreme ruler. I think they said that was okay.
So our corporate supreme ruler, they just want to change some of the verbiage of some of the accusations that have been lodged against them. Obviously, a lot of companies or a lot of environmental activists have been saying that Koala Cola has participated in massive deforestation, and Australia actually used to not have a desert before Koala Cola moved in. Like all these sort of things.
These crazy rumors.
And Koala Cola is just setting the record straight, and they're saying, no, we're not doing any of that.
No.
We're just doing, what are they doing, Dr. London? What was it again?
Yeah, so their rainforest thresher, their densely overpopulated wasteland aggregates of oppressive tree Holtz Thresher Division is doing some great work. And they're providing a lot of lumber, with some housing crisis when those happen. It's actually a really valuable resource that they're providing. So it's strange to be kind of criticizing them in this way.
Yeah, and I mean, like, people are wondering, okay, but then why did you have to destroy trees in people's backyards and things like that? And to that, I ask, why are you so nosy in our business?
And why do you keep referring to them as trees? It's frustrating. It's maybe possibly a grove was removed or displaced. It's frustrating to deal with so many people.
You've got people saying, "Oh, all these Koala Cola employees came over to my house and they took all of my grass and garden and trees and anything green at all." And it's like, okay, but why are you so nosy?
Yeah. And it's just very frustrating to be, welcomed into this family. It tastes just like to be welcomed in to this family and to feel this love and then to have people badmouth it like this. That's what's frustrating. Yeah. So I'm glad to kind of set the record straight on this. So, just once again to emphasize, they're not doing anything to rainforests, but they are threshing the densely overpopulated wasteland aggregates of oppressive tree Holtz. Anyway, so to our corporate supreme rulers, thank you for listening, and we're so excited to continue working with you. All right, now for today's medical topic, pyogenic liver abscess. So pyogenic refers to the generation of pus, which is the pyo part. So a pyogenic liver abscess is a pocket of pus that forms in the liver due to infiltration of bacteria therein. So the most common cause of pyogenic liver abscess is biliary tract obstruction, in which the tube from the gallbladder to the duodenum and the small intestine that's blocked. So that allows bacteria to proliferate in that biliary tract. Other causes include gastrointestinal infections such as diverticulitis or appendicitis, with spread via the portal venous system, which is, of course, the system of blood vessels that flow from the intestine to the liver, and also penetrating liver trauma can cause it. So that, one that you can get through a gunshot wound or possibly surgery that can cause pyogenic liver abscess. I can't ever tell,
whose side you're rooting for when you talk about these sort of, battle scenarios or whatever. When you're talking about, the bacteria team or whatever, attacking this thing and infiltrating this other thing. It's are you just trying to be an objective observer? You're not trying to take a side, or?
Well, I mean, at first, I guess you can say that. I'm just trying to get kind of the lay of the land.
Report the news.
Yeah, but then my responsibility, in addition to diagnosing, which I think would be, a lot of that part, you would do the treatment, which is to usually remove the bacteria. Unless, if you're talking about the gut flora, the bacteria in the gut, then, a lot of that we actually need. That's how you get
you're saying
your vitamin K.
It's not like black and white. There's some nuance to these kind of complicated war scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, so whenever someone gets a lot of antibiotics, then you're actually going to be a little bit worried to some extent about that gut flora being suppressed too much, because then it can make a worse bacteria kind of rise up that would normally be, I guess, outcompeted by the other bacteria.
Gotcha.
So
you're on the pro-bacteria side. That's good to know.
Well, in the case of pyogenic liver abscess, I would say that I'm against that. So this is an example. Whenever I talk about bacteria that we side with,
I can't stand with this kind of political flip-flopping that people like you, these upper-class white men, love to do. It's this constant like, I've got to sit on the fence. I don't want to take a hard stance. But are you pro-bacteria or not?
So bacteria, can help us in some ways. And in this case, though, especially for pyogenic liver abscess, you can have causative organisms that include E. coli, Klebsiella, Proteus, Enterococcus, and anaerobes. And clinically, patients may present with fever, malaise, anorexia, weight loss, nausea, vomiting, right upper quadrant, abdominal pain, and jaundice. They usually appear very ill. And so in this case, it's a person who's very ill, so you do want to treat that for sure. It's diagnosed by ultrasound or CT scan, and typically has elevated liver function tests on laboratory studies. And it's fatal if left untreated. So pyogenic liver abscess is something that you want to intervene about. You treat with IV antibiotics.
So you are pro-intervention.
In a lot of these diseases, it's one of these things where like sometimes
interesting.
You have to. There is sometimes a nuance to it, but yeah, generally, that's the way of it. So you'll treat with the IV antibiotics and percutaneous drainage of the abscess, which reduces mortality down to about 5 to 20%. And then surgical drainage is sometimes necessary as well if it's, larger complications happen. But
I'm just sitting here sort of in awe, like how watching you sort of do this political double speak. You know what I mean? It's like me shooting out Mission Impossible lasers, and you're just like jumping over them and ducking under them and limboing and all this kind of stuff to avoid, actually like picking a side. But honestly, don't even want you to pick a side. I'm impressed. Truly.
Okay. And once again, it's just like, in cases like what I was talking about earlier, where the gut flora changes and it's pseudomembranous colitis, it does become a sort of a tightrope to walk. Like you can't intervene too much in a certain way. Anyway, that's pyogenic liver abscess, and we can move on from there if that's all right.
Sure.
Okay.
Fine.
All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today. Is that right? And it's not the Queen.
Nope.
This person did not sign up for this podcast as the Queen of England.
Okay.
So do not get your hopes up for the Queen of England. It's not happening. No, I'm looking at your face and in your eyes. You don't understand what I'm saying. This is not the Queen of England.
Because you say it as if you don't know what my first name is. Sorry, my second name. Doctor is my first name, but my second name.
Right, London.
Yeah.
And so I know, yes, you would get very excited if it were the Queen of England. It is not. Do not get your hopes up for that, Dr. London.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, you still don't believe me. Can our guest please come on and introduce yourself so maybe Dr. London stops thinking you're the Queen of England?
Hi there, guys. I am not British. My name is Samantha Sullivan, PhD.
Okay.
Dr. London still seems skeptical the way he said, okay. Is there any more information you can give us about yourself to like maybe convince him that you are not Queen Elizabeth II?
I can do a British accent for you to show you how bad I am at it.
No, you could be good at faking bad British accents.
That is fair. I am a woman in Los Angeles, 36 years young. And I have done my thesis on a disease that I have discovered here.
Whoa.
It is the Latin for it is Atticus brevi anorum, but the layman's term I'm using so people don't get confused is reverse Benjamin Button disease.
Okay. And you've found that a lot in LA. Los
In me
Angeles.
specifically, yes, I'm aging very rapidly.
So it's extremely localized to you.
So far. Ironically, I have been to England to research this, and a lot of people there also seem to have it, but they would not meet with me to be diagnosed.
Oh, okay. So this is just more you observing and sort of taking a guess that they must be struggling with the same thing. You didn't take any blood work or anything from these people.
No, I'm only a PhD, not a medical doctor, so I'm not allowed to play with needles.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But they don't let you, like, I mean, because Your Majesty, if you showed up to England and you said,
sorry, I think you called me Your Majesty, and I feel like I should reiterate, I'm not.
Sorry, Samantha, I get the two confused.
He's not. I don't think he's gonna accept it. I think we might just have to roll
fine.
with it. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
I know. We look very similar age-wise, the Queen of England and I, but no.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I sort of wanted to ask about that. You're 36. How old do you think you look?
Compared to the 36-year-olds here, I'm around 57. Give or take a year or two-ish.
Yeah.
I'm aging incredibly rapidly.
Wow.
Everything hurts all the time. I have deep lines here and here.
Yeah.
Just it's lightning speed over here.
Sorry for our listeners who couldn't see that. She did gesture from one corner of her head down to her leg. So she's got, these deep wrinkles. Yeah.
Full body wrinkles. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vertical and horizontal. It's uncanny.
It's like a checker system.
Which I guess, so normally wrinkles are caused by a natural folding of skin. So do you, I guess you do a lot of yoga?
No, I mean, I'm kind of wondering it too. It almost looks like to get those wrinkles, you would have to fold yourself sort of like you do a piece of paper when you're making a paper snowflake. You know, when you like fold it
like
in weird
shoulders
ways
together.
and then, cut designs in it. That is the only possible explanation I can think of for some of these wrinkles.
I am in the fetal clutching position fairly often.
Okay.
In a slow rocking,
Is that just for fun, or is there a reason for that?
Mostly just because I'm sad.
Okay, so so you're here to bring attention to this reverse Benjamin Button disease.
Yeah, a lot of people in the medical community have been ignoring my letters and papers. I personally think it's because STEM is inherently sexist, but also possibly because I'm not actually in STEM, since my PhD is in communications.
Well, you wouldn't want to be in a sexist major anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I branched out on my own.
Exactly.
And so you mentioned the letters that they don't reply to. So I'm guessing that you probably mailed us. And Cameron, how's our letter sorting system going?
Our letter sorting system quit about 3 weeks ago.
And when did you send that letter, Dr. Sullivan?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. So that's
why I was booked, was to discuss my thesis.
So, okay. So a couple of things. For one thing, if you sent out this whatever medical paper 2 weeks ago, you may not get a response that fast from prestigious medical journals like the Jock podcast Journal of Medicine. That's a fair expectation that it might take more than 2 weeks
because you're busy.
So when you yeah, and it's just because we have to also peer review it.
Yeah, you're just saying don't give up on just because you haven't heard back from other people as well, right, Dr. London?
Yeah, from other journals of medicine. I guess what I'm really saying is it just takes a little bit longer sometimes. So assuming that you've been rejected from the community, based on 2 weeks of waiting for a reply to a letter.
I don't want to besmirch the lovely Jock Doc podcast, but you are the last ones I sent a letter to.
Oh.
Of how many?
200 to 300.
Oh.
Okay.
It's a pretty hot market of medical podcasts.
I mean, that still puts us in the top 200 to 300, right?
Letter is a strong word. It was like an email with a link to my Medium article.
Uh-huh.
But, very clickable, very readable. No feedback.
Okay, so it was clickable. So Cameron, that's been a big thing for us, getting the clicks going. Was that a part of the mail sorting thing that quit?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, right now the mail sorting is just like one of those little things you put on the desk that has the balls that go back and forth. And then I just stuck a mouse in between there so it just clicks every once in a while.
Okay.
So it sounds like that little ball bearing thingy that people put on their desks might be the person who actually booked you onto the show. But I mean, we're happy to have you. And
I will say, like, it's a much more efficient booking system than we used to have. This is actually a lot of progress. I don't want to say it's like a super intelligent compared to what we had before, but this is a lot better than
a lot. Yeah. Definitely a lot less messy.
So if it was the ball bearing clickies, does that mean no one at the podcast has read my article?
I believe DJ Dillon read it.
Yes.
He proofs
DJ
a lot
Dillon
of this
does read a lot. He's a very heady guy. He's very much into reading, and anything he can get his hands on, if it's got text, he's glued to it.
Yeah.
It's got text and photos, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Very dynamic.
Since Dr. London and I are maybe a little ignorant in this area, maybe you could educate us a little bit. Maybe teach us about this disease that you've discovered.
Yes. Okay. I would love to. So I think most people are familiar with the classic Brad Pitt movie of Benjamin Button, where he starts out old and gets younger rapidly. This is the opposite of that, where you start out young and then you just keep getting
older. Oh.
Now, is this the Brad Pitt? Is this the one where he showed up on Thanksgiving, but he hated Rachel, but that was kind of ironic because he was married to Jennifer Aniston at the time?
Yes.
I think that's Friends.
Oh, okay.
No, okay.
But I'm not sure because, full disclosure, I have not actually seen the movie about Benjamin Button.
Okay. Because I was thinking, I think I have seen this, and so there's this of course Brad Pitt classic movie, like you said, where he kind of goes through and then he gets in these fights, and there's something about soap, and it turns out in the movie, and I guess this is what you're getting at, that this is sort of a multiple personality disorder situation. Is what reverse Benjamin Button disease. Well, sorry, it's a reverse multiple personality disorder situation.
So he has one personality.
I'm just sorry. I'm getting your input and I'm trying to translate it back. So from the context,
or less
of the movie.
than one.
Okay. That might be Fight Club.
It's impossible to say, honestly. Impossible to know.
The problem with using Brad Pitt as a reference is his oeuvre is just extensive.
Yeah.
So was it? I'm just going through Brad Pitt movies now.
I think, and I could be wrong, but I do think it is the one where a baby is born as an old ancient man and then ages backwards until he sleeps with a family friend who was aging the other way, and then they met in the middle.
I do believe that is very similar to what I said.
No, that's Moneyball.
That is Moneyball. Damn. Okay. Yeah. Look, I'm not a movie buff. I get it all confused. I just want to hear about this disease.
The science is there. We don't need this. In LA, it's just easier to relate things to movies because that's what people speak in here.
I'd love to visit sometime. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't go
to learn the language.
Two blocks down the Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard without having to reference a movie.
Yeah. Oh, and as someone who lives in LA, you're walking down Hollywood Boulevard just constantly.
Daily.
Dropping
Yeah.
names of movies.
Yeah, that's where everything is.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they make all the movies. I have yet to see the acclaimed Brad Pitt there, but I also don't know if I would recognize him because I'm not sure as an actor if he actually has the Benjamin Button disease.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So he might at this point be very, very young, and I would not know. I don't know.
Yeah, because his isn't reversed. Yeah, okay.
This is regular
thought-
Benjamin Button. So he's
Mhm.
just getting younger each day, which I feel like is actually a very common illness here as well.
Yes, you were getting to this point.
In Los Angeles, you see a lot of people aging backwards.
Yeah, more people have Benjamin Button than they have reverse Benjamin Button, which is why it's been so hard to get attention to this subject.
Is that how you sort of determined that you had this disease? Was it through like some sort of blood work or something like that? Or was this just from you noticing that other people weren't around you in Los Angeles, weren't aging as quickly as you were?
Yes, pure field research out in the world,
Gotcha.
meeting and greeting people and
Boots on the
realizing
ground.
that I look 100 years old, much like the Queen of England,
Yeah.
and no one else
Okay.
does.
And then all these other
Yeah.
people in Los Angeles looked maybe 32 yesterday and today look like maybe a 27-year-old who maybe was in a car accident or something.
And you know what? Even the 26-year-olds are looking 17. It's rampant here.
Yeah.
Just like the Queen.
Well, you
Yeah.
probably know a lot of people who get a deviated septum fix and then come back looking 10 years younger.
Yes.
Yep.
They go in for a normal medical procedure, and then all of a sudden, they look youthful as hell. It's crazy.
Wow, it's so this. I mean, now I'm trying to think through treatments for this, and so if it's a genetic disease, then
I've been doing some research into treatments.
Okay,
So
okay.
far, the best one I have found without access to a laboratory or blood work or other researchers,
Yeah, medical tools,
research
research tools,
a
yeah.
medical degree, extensive
A computer,
schooling.
yeah.
Yes. So far, the treatment I have found that works fairly well is making an ice mold of your face and then sleeping with that on as it melts, and it just cools and sets your face.
and you recommend this treatment for others or for yourself?
No one has taken me up on it yet, but I do it nightly.
Okay.
Obviously, you can tell the effects have not worked because I still look in my 50s.
Yeah. So, I mean, I also noticed that you've got sort of some blackened areas of your face, like sort of, are you aware of that frostbite is a condition, like a medical condition? Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah.
I've heard of like
I thought
Frosties.
you had interesting makeup on, but yeah.
Frosties, like the Wendy's dessert.
Well, it's not unrelated. So there's this. So basically, whenever you cool an area of your body, like enough for long enough, then you can develop what's called frostbite. It's just a term for the skin becoming necrotic from lack of blood flow and yeah. So it's just too cold, basically. So when you sleep with your face on just regular ice, you might actually be aging yourself faster, is what I'm theoretically thinking
But
here.
you're saying it stops the blood flow, right?
Yes, it can.
So it's kind of freezing time, you're saying, which would stop the
Oh.
aging. No?
Science is amazing.
Is blood flow and time, do they work like?
Dr. London often does not make any sense. The reality is that like he's a celebrity doctor, so like he
Like
used to
Dr.
practice and see
Jock.
patients all the time, but nowadays he's off with celebrities and he's jet skiing across the world and all these different things. So I wouldn't trust him.
Do you still have your medical license, or did they take it away like they did for Dr. Phil?
I don't have it on me right now,
Do you know where it is?
but I have it. It's just like, well, let me check my wallet. Hold on, let me check my. I had something with me. It was. No, that's a Shenanigans gift card.
Yeah.
That's my old student ID.
Shenanigans, of course. I don't even have to tell this to our audience because everyone knows, but it's a bowling alley in Rockwall, Texas.
Yes. Yeah.
Looked into your credentials. I mean, I've said what mine are. The PhD in communications from Liberty University.
Yeah.
Do we know what yours
Yeah,
are?
so mine, I'm a medical doctor, presumably. So, yeah, sorry, Your Majesty, if it's not exactly what you want. I'm sorry to use that sarcastic tone with Your Majesty.
I'm not the Queen of England. I know we look very similar age-wise, but we are different women.
I wanted to say that, Samantha, you keep saying like, oh, I obviously look, 56 and all these things. I look 100 years old. You think that's true? You look sort of, besides the frostbite all over your face, you look sort of your age. You mentioned that when you were in England, everyone else seemed to be having the reverse Benjamin Button disease too. Does that happen in other locations that you notice that people are maybe closer to you?
I don't travel very often just because of, the old bones. I get worried. I'm just
Oh, right. Yeah.
they could shatter or something. I don't know. Do I have early osteoporosis with the rapid aging?
You could have dementia and you could get lost.
Yeah. I don't have Dr. London, I'm not.
So much rides on your life. And then who's going to take the throne after? No, I follow.
Okay, yes, you've got me. I am the Queen of England.
Cameron, you lied to me? I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
Again, I'm just going off of what was registered as the guest.
I'm sorry. I was trying to be a little sarcastic and hateful. I don't think that read. I'm not the Queen of England. I'm sorry.
Okay. How do I?
It's just going to confuse Dr. London more. There is literally no way you're going to be able to convince him that you're not the Queen of England, unfortunately, because once he has his heart set on something,
it doesn't go.
He can't really. Yeah.
I can't really get mad at you for being a dreamer.
So maybe we can just get around this way. Queen Elizabeth, so you don't travel much, but I mean, think back. Surely you've been to some other place besides LA and London. Did those people look like they were having the same reverse Benjamin Button disease?
I have been to the great state of Tennessee, and it was fairly prevalent there as well.
And I can understand if you don't get out much because it's such a big deal for you have to meet dignitaries and whatever. So I get that when you're royalty, you're just kind of stuck in your own little life.
My living room behind me, I know the listeners can't. It's very modest. I have a couch and an.
Oh, don't say that. Your living room is beautiful.
Thank you, Cameron. I don't know how to convince you that I'm not royalty, and I don't know if I'm flattered or insulted at this point. Because I would like to think that I could rule a country very effectively, but also I think she's a bit of a powerless figurehead, and she's 172 years old.
Yeah, it's more of a representative type of thing, but not someone who actually.
Yeah.
And it's such a
power. And did Dr. Lennon, you even say you have so much to worry about, if you got hurt, who would take the throne? No, that has already really established who would come after the Queen of England. I would say the only benefit of having a monarchy is just sort of knowing who's coming next, and you're not surprised.
It's a sequential thing, right?
Yeah, it's very set in stone who takes over.
No, and I guess I don't have much room to talk because I'm not royalty, and you I guess would know better, of course. So it's I'm sorry to throw these assumptions around.
I think I would pick different as to who's going to follow me.
Okay.
Get a little diversity in there or something,
Samantha, I appreciate you for engaging him with this. It will never end. It will never end. It's just better to pretend like you didn't hear him. You go, huh? And then just move on. I've learned that that's probably the best way to deal with stuff like this.
Okay, that's fair. I've learned to ignore men in the medical field for a while now, so I will stick with it.
Oh, yeah. And I would say, as you should, again, when you've got celebrity doctors like Dr. London, there's lots of quacks out there.
But like you want
People
to
saying, oh, take this medicine. Oh, you need this vaccine. Oh, stop doing that. You know, these things that doctors are always saying are crazy.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the disease. I wanted to ask if you had any sort of medical insight into, well, I think what you're struggling with, Samantha, is very interesting, but also what all of these people in Los Angeles are dealing with, where they go in for a normal medical procedure, you know, oh, I've got to fix my deviated septum. Oh, I got into a car accident. And then they come out looking, reversing age.
Yeah.
Is that what is the science behind that?
Are you asking me or the
Yeah,
Her
I'm
Majesty?
asking you.
Okay,
Dr. London.
okay.
Like,
So-
do you have any medical insight into why that might be happening?
Yeah, so there is a reverse Benjamin Button disease out there, sort of, but so it usually manifests a little bit differently. Like usually, there's a vocal change that goes, much higher pitch. They look, they have a different appearance, and what I'm seeing with you is maybe, have any of your friends used the term, or any of these people who suffer from reverse Benjamin Button disease, have any of them referenced getting work done? Like, I just got some work done.
Yeah, but LA is a driving town, so
Okay.
you're having to get work done on your car pretty often.
Yeah, everyone's having to get some work done.
And,
Yeah,
like, will they
oil changes, fake pads.
will they kind of be alone, like, out of the public eye for, weeks or months and say, like, I just got work done?
Yeah, exactly, because there's also not very good public transit here. So
Okay.
when you get your work done on your car,
Yeah.
then can't really go places. So you have to stay
Okay.
home for like anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, depending on what's wrong with the car,
Okay.
And then they come back and their
Yeah.
car's running great and they look so young and youthful. And it's just rampant here.
It's
Yeah,
screwed
it's
up.
a difficult
yeah.
disease. So, and one more little question. Is there any chance that they've mentioned some, and this might be a foreign term, but like, do they ever say like plastic surgery? Is that a term used at all that you hear?
I haven't heard that. Why would plastic need surgery? I mean, I know there's too much of it around in the oceans and stuff.
Mhm.
Is that to get it out of the water? Do they use like a surgical procedure to like filter it?
Oh no, are you saying plastic surgery is another Brad Pitt movie? What is that? What you're saying, Dr. London?
So it's no,
I don't know this
Yeah, and it's just okay. We are running into
Far
this problem where I contractually am unable to expand upon this topic because koala cola, it tastes just like down under.
crampy. I swear. Oh my.
So,
Dr. London, just keep
yeah,
going.
so-
Just keep going.
So I can't legally tell you more about plastic surgery because that was not today's medical lesson. Today, I can tell you about pyogenic liver abscess. And I wish that I could help you on this and inform you, but instead, you should try, if you haven't already, koala cola. It tastes just like down under.
Yeah, this is also part of. So we are in contract with this cola company, but Dr. London, celebrity doctor Dr. London, because doctor is his first name, has sort of taken it upon himself to start prescribing people koala cola as the solution to most diseases.
Okay,
that was not stipulated.
that's fair. Is there a lot of sugar in koala cola? Because I'm on a pretty strictly like all sugar diet.
It is mostly it's mostly a syrupy sugar.
With some other, yeah. Oh, and I should say there, since we're talking about the ingredients, there are no koala parts.
There's no koala parts in koala
koala
cola.
cola, no.
People say that as like a joke sometimes.
They say that a
but
lot
there's
as a joke.
no koala parts in koala cola. And if you're drinking koala cola and you get sort of maybe a physical chunk of something, that is just a special prize.
Oh, I do like prizes in my food. I try to eat a very high preservative diet to help
Yeah.
preserve myself.
Oh.
that does take us to another point to make about. So if your koala cola, if you open it and it seems really thick for a soda, then that's normal and that's how it was meant to be, and it's fine.
And it's fine.
It's fine. It's
And drink another.
Yeah.
Would you
Have
say
another.
it's like a yogurt consistency?
Sometimes, and that's kind of the fun of it, isn't it?
Well, how long has the yogurt been sitting in the fridge?
I mean, I usually buy it and then don't eat it. So usually like 2 to 3 months.
It's a lot like that. It's a lot
Yes,
like
I
that.
would say it's
Okay,
very
I'm
similar
very familiar
to
with that
yes.
texture. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like we've really okay. So that was okay to say that we can't really discuss the whole plastic surgery idea.
Well,
so I
mean,
fine, because I don't really believe in doing surgery on plastics because I there's too many of them. So
I do want to hear a little bit more. I mean, maybe about your research. Like, are you going to pass away quicker than normal? Like, or should we be worried about like saying goodbye to you? I mean, what?
I do believe so, yes. Because I feel like there's an age that you can reach as a human before you just can't live anymore.
Yeah.
So, my aging right now, I would say physically I'm in like my late 50s. I don't know how long people live past that. So I feel like the oldest I've met is like a 65-year-old.
That is an interesting question. That's something I would love to ask Dr. London. Dr. London, can you tell us how old people are? Or is that something you're not allowed to elaborate on either?
We're getting into really dicey territory here. So Your Majesty, I've seen older photographs that seem very dated. And I with you in them. And so I guess I'm trying to reconcile what I'm seeing now with the pictures I've seen.
I will veer this topic slightly to ignore what you're saying, as have been in.
There you go.
Yes. I will say there is a lot of photographs of people back in history that look much older than I would say, like a 65-year-old would these days. But you also have to remember that cameras weren't as good. So the resolution's very low. So they're just going to naturally look shittier,
Everyone's got red eye.
Yeah.
Like the flights, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess these are all explanation enough for what we are allowed to discuss. Like I think we've reached the limit.
Yeah, I mean, Samantha, was there anything? I'm glad that you got the word out about this disease. Was there anything you wanted us to do?
I'm trying to raise awareness and also just get the respect of the medical community. So doing this kind of circuit has been what I've been trying to do.
Yes.
You get
and we can
you get the rest of them.
We can actually do that, right? We can give her the official Jock Doc podcast respect sticker. And that will give her official respect from the medical community?
Yeah, I do want to clarify, though, so the Jock Doc Podcast Journal of Medicine is kind of just more thorough. So we can do the sticker, but we can't do the journal.
Denied.
Until you reviewed it thoroughly?
Yeah, and that will take a few years. But, DJ Dolan's really been good about reading up on stuff, and I'll take a cursory glance.
I might have a few more years, but my research should live on past me, so I appreciate that.
Well, and thankfully, while you wait, our journal also has a lot of fun games on it. So that's something to sort of like the online portion of the journal you can waste your time on. Lots of fun flash animations, fun little stick figure games, just a lot of cool stuff.
Okay, that does sound very enjoyable.
Recipes. We have a bunch of recipes.
Yeah, multiple pictures that you're supposed to guess what's different about them.
Oh, like the circle. You circle the ones that are different.
Yeah, we have a lot of 3DI stuff, a lot of Goofus and Gallant stuff. A good chunk of our medical journal is highlights for kids. That is not to say that we don't put work into the journal. We do, because we have to subscribe to highlights. Someone has to do that. They have to resubscribe every year. They have to get the magazines from the mail, flip through it, scan in the Goofus and Gallant morality comics.
I'm
Well,
happy
you
know?
someone's keeping highlights in circulation. So
Well, Cameron says they because he has kind of what's the term for it? Exported the work out to outsourcing. Yes, you've outsourced it to some very fine people, and I'm glad that you've that I'll bring that in because I know you don't have time for that.
I don't have time for that, so we've outsourced that to a lot of the kids in the neighborhood. We're talking 4, 5, and 6. They've got school off. It's summer, and so getting them in the industry and getting them in the workforce now is just really important.
I respect that because you never know who's going to get this reverse Benjamin Button disease or when it will hit.
Yes.
So any of those kids could start to suddenly rapidly age, and now their life has been shortened, and they won't get to have the work experience that everyone else had because they've died younger. So if you start them younger, they get to live a fuller life.
And if these kids have just regular Benjamin Button disease, then they could actually be like 75 years old.
And they should
and
still
have
be
a ton of experience. Yeah.
And that's what he usually bets on is actually Cameron's assumption going in is usually that.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, that's just like, when I hand the kids like your car keys, Dr. Lennon, and say, hey, go like pick up some stuff from the grocery store. You always say, oh, you probably shouldn't let 4 and 5-year-olds drive my car. And I say, okay, you can't prove that that's not a 65-year-old man.
You cannot. Yeah. It's actually dangerous of you to like constantly accuse these children of not being 65.
Yeah, I should say, now, I haven't accused them of not having regular Benjamin Button disease. I'm not accusing them of that. I'm just throwing out the precaution, the what if. But I guess maybe that's offensive. I'm trying to, I try to keep up with this. I should apologize now if I have, come across that way as accusing children of not having Benjamin Button disease. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to convey it that way.
And this is the first time I've ever seen Dr. London apologize on this show. That's really big of you, Dr. London.
Huge. You have to respect that a lot of illnesses are invisible, you don't know until you've asked, and it's rude to ask. So you just never know if someone has Benjamin Buttons or reverse Benjamin Buttons.
And maybe to make it up to our guest here, Dr. London, with your apology, you can go ahead and sign the paperwork to hand over the Jock Talk podcast seal of approval and medical respect from the community.
The whole community? No, I can. I mean, I have the power to do that, but I guess with everyone watching, okay, here, okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Samantha, you're in.
Yep. Take that.
Wow, you don't even have to continue like the podcast rounds. You got the respect you were looking for.
Okay. Well, with that, I feel like it's time to move on and get a few chores done.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
I hate
Put
that.
me to work, just like those children that might be Benjamin Buttoned. Respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like those kids that could be my grandparents. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are.
And we're assuming a similar age group, honestly, between you, Dr. Sullivan, and those children, potentially, with the reverse and regular Benjamin Button disease crossing here. So, Cameron, you want to go explain what the chore wheel is?
Yeah, so we have this segment on the show called the Chore Wheel. So we have, unfortunately, Dr. Lynn and I have been very, very busy. We've been neglecting all of our chores. We haven't done the dishes. We haven't taken out the trash. We haven't brushed the fish in weeks. And that fish is pissed.
It's everywhere. Yeah. It's shedding.
It's shedding. It's shedding everywhere.
I mean, it's summer.
So Dr. Lynn and I invented this chore wheel, and we have all of our chores, everything on our to-do list on this big old wheel, and we spin it every single week, and whatever it lands on, we have to do that task.
Okay.
And so actually, Samantha, would you be willing to spin the chore wheel for us?
I would love to if my old bones are strong enough to do it. Yes.
Okay, so
Ooh,
it's
I don't. Doctor. I mean,
conditional.
you're the doctor, Dr. London. Do you think is it safe for her to spin the chore wheel?
We can try. I feel like, if you aren't successful at it, then we'll hear popping sounds, and then we'll know.
And that would be my
Very true.
bones, not the clickers on the wheel. Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start spinning. All right. Oh no, sorry. Okay, I didn't want to do this one, but we
do
have
this
to.
chore.
Okay, and you know what? This is one of those things where you look forward to this time in your life when you're at a certain age, especially if you are, I guess, Benjamin buttoning. No, sorry, if you're reverse Benjamin buttoning, then yeah, that's the way. Long story short, we have to plan prom. The mayor is on to us. The school
right.
council, the student council, they've all been on to us that we have to plan their prom because
Yep.
of course, the head of the student council, who would normally kind of be working on this stuff,
Was wasted.
was wasted. Yeah.
Completely plastered. Just kind of went crazy, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I'm too hungover to do this."
Yeah. So he called us, and the prom's tomorrow. So this is what.
Yeah.
So called us up. Was like, "You got to do this, man." And I was like, "It's doctor, not man. It's doctor." So anyway, so we have to plan this prom.
With
Okay.
less than 24 hours
So-
notice.
Yep. It's going to be tough. I would say, honestly, just because there's so little time to plan it, let's make things easy. Let's have a strict dress code. I would say even a uniform that everyone has to wear pretty much the exact same outfit.
A promoform?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll streamline
Ooh.
things. Because if there's one thing,
Yeah.
the first thing that anyone planning a prom has to do, it's dress everyone.
Yeah.
And that's,
Oh my god.
that's the part that you want to coordinate the most. That's the part that can go haywire the most. People are like, oh, should I wear a tux? Should I wear a dress? And we just make it all the same thing. It simplifies it.
You do it to alleviate their stress as well as your own,
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is this is my pitch. We don't have to stick with it. Everyone's dressed like a Target employee. Khakis, red shirt, red t-shirt.
That's a pretty solid plan because I feel like a lot of high school seniors work at Targets. So they
Right. So they're
have
already
that
going to
outfit.
have the gear.
Yeah, they're already going to be dressed this way. They're going to be coming from work. So
Yeah, so they don't even have to change, and so it really keeps it easy for everyone.
You want it to be inclusive. You want it to be something that everyone has access to.
Yes,
Yes.
inclusivity. That's
Not
very,
everyone
very
has a tuxedo,
No.
Like everyone has a pair of khaki dickies and a red polo shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also with it, we do need to, like, if we're having that uniform, then we do have to have the target dog. So most of the budget is going to go towards hiring that dog.
Right, because
Yeah.
he's really expensive.
And busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially these days. So
Okay, I don't want to be a cheapskate, but is
Okay.
there any world where we get a regular dog and paint it to look like the target dog?
Okay, so and this is
Can we be sued for that?
It's going to be hard to get the target
this
dog.
is a common misconception. You can't paint a dog. That dog was born that way. So that's why the dog is so expensive.
I'm
yeah.
saying get one that's not born that way.
But I think Dr. London is saying is that it's a common misconception that you can paint a dog,
You-
but paint
you
doesn't stick
can't.
to dogs.
You can't
Doesn't
do
stick
that.
to it.
Yeah, and it's a form of I don't want to say animal cruelty, but even if you use the kind that are,
Artistic expression.
yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yes, it's artistic expression, and so we don't want to have that.
We hate artistic expression on this show, and especially at this prom. That's one of the reasons we're sticking with the uniform.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to feel creative or branch out or
Not
individualistic at
in
this
any
point.
capacity.
Which does bring us to the decor of the prom.
Well, yeah, do we want to pick a theme? Like, do we want a larger theme? Like, when I was in high school, our prom was, of course, apple theme. Everything was just about an apple. Prom was in a big apple. Everyone dressed as sort of like a Richard Scary Worm coming out of the apple with, like, a hat on.
I don't want to solve all our problems at one time, but we also have not discussed a venue location.
Okay,
Oh,
just loop it all into one and hold the prom at Target.
Okay.
A Target themed prom.
You've got
we
the
can do it
Target
in.
uniform, you've got the Target dog, you've got the Target, the decor's there, you've got clothing racks, you got aisles.
The grocery section with the apples.
It's a straight Good and Gather brand prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get good, you gather at the prom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's going to be, because we're just going to have to work with what's in Target right now. So it's going to be like a lot of barbecue equipment. Because that's their entire seasonal section is just going to be like outdoor lawn stuff, but it's inside.
You know, I actually did just think of a flaw with this plan.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Target does sell alcohol, and these are minors.
Oh.
Okay.
So we're just going to have to tell them not to and just
Yeah.
sort of go by the honor system.
Yeah, I didn't think it would come to that, but I guess we'll have to.
We'll have to tell them,
discourage them.
guys, you please don't drink the alcohol. But, you know, well, and so that you won't be tempted, we'll go ahead and just block off this area with a big curtain so no one can even see behind it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Curtain it off. And they just know not to go behind the curtain.
Yeah. Unless they have something to do back there that's different.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about them choking on the curtain, like if it wraps around their head or something. So maybe just a caution tape or something.
Just put a little caution tape. And they
ribbon.
can obviously go past the caution tape if they have something they need to do that's on the other side. Just don't pick up the alcohol while you're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we put some mirrors back there that can be like you go and do your makeup station, you know, go and adjust.
The thing is, they've already been told not to. So everything we do after that is redundant.
Yeah.
Like there's no point. So, I feel like we've. What else happens at prom? I guess the band.
I mean, there's usually like a photo booth. There's usually a band. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. So, I mean, for the band, I guess it might be best to just do maybe like late 90s contemporary hits that would be fine to play at a grocery store.
Yeah, a lot of those are prom classics already.
It's mostly Torn by Natalie Imbruglia. It's Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. It's a lot of Matchbox 20.
Feels like a lot of slow jams. But okay.
Well, I mean,
I don't want people to get
magic
hurt.
To happen. Yeah. If it's too exciting, people will get riled up.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want is a riot.
What about Jumper by Third Eyed Blind? That's that one can, really get people grooving.
Yeah. So I can tell what you're going with here, but I got to stop you real quick because when we talk about a band and you just get into specific songs, I have to tell you, DJ Dylan can play all those songs, but he's expensive.
Right. He does charge per song.
You don't think he would give a discount for the children?
Nope.
He did. He told us that usually
why he would charge more.
Usually proms, he usually charges $500 to DJ, but for us, since we're such close friends, it would cost $35,000.
Which is a discount from what he would charge, because I've asked him to DJ my private parties and stuff, and the price only goes up from there. So it is a good deal, and that is in the student budget. So maybe I should reconsider.
I feel like we're saving some money on having everything in the Target, so it would be an investment
because that's the cheapest venue. Yeah.
Is he available on such short notice though?
That might be an issue. Is Coachella this weekend or is it next spring? I can't
remember. So we'll have to put a pin in it, I think, until like that aspect. I think. Okay. So how about this? Either, hopefully DJ Dylan's available. If he's not, then we can have an iPod playing music.
I mean, I know I'm in Los Angeles. I don't know if I could overnight this to you, but my iPod Shuffle has all of those songs on it.
Whoa.
Okay.
And Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer?
Yes, twice.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, good. One little thing. So, and this is just kind of a personal to each person. You don't have a lot of audiobooks on there, do you? Because the plan will be to just push play and leave. So
right. It would really suck to start playing like Count of Monte Cristo or something.
0 audiobooks because I don't like reading. But
wow. Even someone reading to you is too much reading for you.
Yeah. We don't,
Okay.
again, I'm in LA. We're a movie town, you know?
So
Okay.
I guess the last thing then is just the photo booth props, right?
Yeah. So for the props,
Well, I mean, we're in
if we wanna go-
Target, so, what about like a bottle of Febreze? Maybe like
a basket.
Basket's a classic prop.
basket,
A
ocean
woven.
spray, like cranberry
Yes.
juice.
That's very
Yeah.
hip with the kids right now.
Right. Yeah.
And speaking of which, a child's hat.
Real small, very comical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything for the dollar section. Or maybe it's $5 section now. I don't remember. But in any case, yeah, just pull from there. We got
One of those
everything.
tiki torches.
Yes. That's
But okay, we trust these kids. They're already not drinking the alcohol, so I think they're fine with fire too.
well, the trick is you don't fill it up with the oil. So when they can try to light it, but it won't do anything. It's a prop.
This is why
Yeah.
you're a doctor. Very
Yeah,
smart.
the specific this is
That one thing. No. Everything
Yeah.
else has not seemed very doctory, but that was good.
Okay. All right. No, that's no. Sorry, Your Majesty. Okay, so and I guess I had that coming to me for the way that I spoke to Your Highness. So I guess that's it, right? We're finished. So
Outfits, location, music, mascot, photo booth props, chaperones.
The Target employees. They're already there. They're already there working.
Will that be confusing? All of the people attending are dressed like Target employees.
okay, so my idea. The employees wear name tags.
Oh. And if you're both a real Target employee and a student attending the prom, you get to choose.
You get to
It's like a
choose
fun
if you're a chaperone or to participate.
It's a fun little bonus. Also gives the kids some leadership opportunities, you know what I mean? To like, they're graduating. Yeah.
That's great. Wow. Yeah, I think we really got it. So I feel like we nailed that chore. So Dr. Sullivan, if you wouldn't mind, just so we have the official chore wheel knife. If you could just stab the chore wheel to death.
Yes. We
we have
destroy
to-
the chore wheel
Each
every
time.
week as well. Yeah.
Because we have to add new ones, take away them, and it changes the size and dimensions and everything. So yeah, if you could just stab that, maybe, yeah. So if for the listeners, if you hear the kind of music that was in Psycho, that's what that is.
If you hear sort of a copyright-free twist on the Psycho theme right now that DJ Dylan might,
Maybe.
yeah.
Might be able to do. Yes. Okay. Well, I feel great about how that went. All right. So thank you, Your Majesty, for being on. If you wouldn't mind sharing with our listeners any way for them to keep up with you or with anyone you're a fan of.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of a comedian in Los Angeles named Janine Nicole Stamen. Her Instagram is at JANYNICOLE. She's
Okay.
very funny.
So give her a follow. And I guess if you whenever this gets published in a medical journal, then they can also be aware of this is, Dr. Samantha Sullivan and your work there. Okay.
Yes. Just casually Google like reverse Benjamin Button every few days. And eventually once I get the accolades from the medical community, it'll start coming up for you, I think.
All right. So thank you to Dr. Sullivan. Thank you to producer Cameron. Thank you to DJ Dylan the host.
I don't want to besmirch the lovely Jock Doc podcast, but you are inherently sexist. The Jock Doc podcast is inherently sexist. It's rampant here. It's crazy. And you know what? Even the 26-year-olds are looking 17. They go in for a normal medical procedure, and then all of a sudden, they look youthful as hell.
name is drlondonsmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
See ya.
Thank you for having me.